Yeah, I mean, we talk about a little bit. I like, especially starting out, like just having small wins, just building momentum. I think that's so key starting out. I think trying to do too much too early and too fast is when people just end up quitting. This week, I interviewed transformational and mindset coach Tiffany Owen. Tiffany uses both her lived experience and professional training to lead women through powerful physical, emotional, and spiritual breakthroughs. We discuss the value of hiring a coach, along with the importance of finding a win in everything you do, how to turn your pain into purpose, Tiffany's workout and recovery routine, and her one tip to get your body back to what it once was. I really enjoyed my interview with Tiffany. I know you will too. Thanks so much for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Gryn, and I have Tiffany Owen on. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian. I am so excited to finally be here.
Great to have you here. Coming from Texas.
Yeah, Texas. I love it. Great state.
Getting hot. Is it getting hot there? I'm
It
assuming.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I love to run bleachers, and it's
Oh,
definitely different now with hot, being hot and humid than when it's a little bit cooler, of course.
isn't it amazing how much more difficult just a little bit of a rise in temperature
Yeah.
can affect your workouts? Actually, this reminds me, I had a guest on, I forget his name, is a little while ago, a year or two ago, where he came out with a simple invention where you can actually cool yourself, just like this like bar that you put on like certain areas of your skin to cool yourself down during the workout. And there's some research behind it showing that it can actually, your output can be much better once you cool your body temperature down. And it's interesting.
That's worth looking into because
Yeah.
I do about 3 hours. So I almost like
Oh,
run a half marathon on bleachers. I get
geez.
like 8 to 9 miles. So finding what can I do at that hour and a half mark to keep me going
Oh my God.
past
Yeah.
that. So I've done more electrolytes. I've done, packets of honey. So that might be something I need
Mm.
to look into.
I will get you the name of and the number of that episode.
Yeah.
That's so many, they sometimes lose track. But yeah, wow. So, well, before we get into, I'm curious to hear about your workouts, but
Yeah.
health, fitness, life coach. I know you talk a lot about like your mentality and nutrition and things like that. When did you start getting into all things health and wellness?
Yeah. So before we jump into that, I want to first say thank you for putting out the content that you put out. It's a mission and it's a lot of hard work. Doing a podcast is a lot of hard work. So I want to remind your listeners to subscribe to Brian's channel, station, podcast, all the things, and leave a 5-star review and share because that's how we get to reach more people. So that's super, super important. So do that in the beginning
Appreciate
so
that.
you don't forget. It's very what you do is hard work.
I appreciate that. I rarely ask for any of that, but sometimes people need a little bit of a push. So I
Yeah, I'll
appreciate
do it for you. Yes,
that.
I'll do it. Yeah,
Right.
like and subscribe. So, how did I get started? I think we're going to take a little bit of like if I can share on a deeper level, where and how I got started. I've been a certified personal trainer for 23 years, and I'm really good at what I do. But the mindset piece I started a couple years ago. 3 years ago, I tried to kill myself for the fourth time, and I hit my what I like to call my final rock bottom, and I write about it in my book, Wounded to Warrior. That is what really propelled me in wanting to take this mission more seriously with transforming your mind
Mm,
and then your body will follow. And I want to empower as many people as possible to become radically transformed into the person they were created to be, not just body, but mind and spirit too. I think all three are important.
mm.
So that bottom led me into developing the blueprint or the model that saved my life now that I'm sharing with others.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And who's your ideal client? Like what do you mainly work with? What type of people do you work with?
So I know most of your listeners are men, but I work with men and women. But for the men listening, I want you to really lean in, because what I share with you, maybe you can share with a woman that you love in your life. My ideal client, I have my youngest client's 24, my oldest is 76, mostly women, pre and postmenopausal. That's a big thing right now. Um, I really love working with women 40 plus,
Hmm.
especially women in their 50s, because it's so awesome to see them want to finally take care of themselves. And there's a vicious cycle of self sabotage and a victim mindset with a lot of women. And I was one of those, so I'm speaking from experience. And they want to change, they want to stick with the diet, stick with the workout, but they really don't know how.
Hmm.
They can listen and consume all the information, but they can't figure out why they keep starting over every Monday. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something that we've talked about not a ton on the podcast, but mindset. One of the things in like my program is we talk about like right off the bat, creating clarity around like sort of your why and like because that's what drives you because you have these plateaus and you have these moments where you might get stuck, and that's right the beauty of having a coach too to help you get through those moments. So getting into mindset, like what would you say some of the big principles are to help people sort of take that next step or overcome a plateau?
Yeah, you kind of went fast over that. That's the benefit of hiring a coach, but it is. I've hired a coach for everything, even when I thought I could not invest in one or afford to invest in one.
Yeah.
There's so much value. Marriage coaches, financial coaches. I hired a coach to help me write my book.
Hmm.
Uh, I think everyone needs a good coach. So that's important for people to lean in on. Uh, Keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. So whether you're a man or a woman listening, the reason why you maybe are not being able to follow through with your goals, or you're not getting where you want to be, could possibly be a lack of integrity with yourself. So that means we don't keep the promises that we make to ourselves. We have integrity with everyone else, and we're putting everyone else first, whether it's your spouse or your children. And our commitments to ourselves go on the back burner. And that's a lack of integrity. So the biggest thing that I want to, well, then leads to a lack of self-worth. So if I'm telling myself I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to get my workout in, I'm going to do my morning routine and wake up, I wake up at 4, that's a little extreme, but like wake up at 6 and do a meditation. You're real big on morning routines. I am too. Successful people get up early, but it's not like you go from sleeping in one day to getting up at 4 the next. It's a process. And keeping small promises that you make to yourself, you can build on that. You build integrity and you build self-worth and you build confidence. Then it gets a little bit easier to start habit stacking.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we talk about a little bit. I like, especially starting out, like just having small wins, just building momentum. I think that's so key starting out. I think trying to do too much too early and too fast is when people just end up quitting.
Yeah, one of the biggest parts of my program, it's funny that you said that. I just released an app that is called Win the Day. So
Cool.
that's one of the very first things I start with my people. So what we focus on grows. If we're looking for it, we will find it. So if you are looking for wins, you will find them.
Right.
One of the very first things I will have a client do is the day they start with me, you're going to share 3 wins that you got for the day and 3 wins that you plan on getting tomorrow. And the smaller, the better. So I have a feeling a lot of your listeners are probably high achievers and perfectionists, type A, because people in fitness and health normally are. And we have a problem celebrating the small wins. And then we hit our goal and the goalpost moves
Hmm.
and nothing's ever good enough. That's been my experience. Like you could tell me I won $1 million and I'd be like, oh, okay, well, taxes and how do I get more and what do I
Right.
do next? And wouldn't even celebrate.
Right.
So in my app that's available to everyone that has Apple, You actually
iTunes.
log, yeah, you log your wins,
Well, that's
and
cool.
the smaller the better. And then setting your intentions for the day tomorrow, you're more likely to get them. I actually got this concept from the book called Gap and the Gain, by Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but life changing. So I've been doing this 5 years consistently. And now I find a win in everything I do. So if it's a bad situation or something that happens to me that I don't like, I can say, what did this make possible and what did I learn?
Hmm.
And then it's a win. So
I,
you're,
li- I like that. Yeah. I'll check that app out. Win the day.
it's TO Fitness Win the Day.
TL Fitness, win the day. Very cool. And you wrote your book, Wounded to Warrior. That was in 2023. It came out, it looks like, end of
Yeah.
2023.
Yep. About a year and a half now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what that is, and if you're watching on YouTube, this is, I
Oh,
have
there
it.
you go.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, and Barnes and Noble and Walmart. I wrote the book to not only heal and share my testimony, but share the mindset tools of how I overcame a victim mindset. Life happens to me, basically, and I shifted to life happens for me, and how to overcome the vicious cycle of self sabotage, which, if you're listening, you probably have self sabotage once or twice in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a cycle and you just can't figure out how to stop it. But that's where we can really tap into rewiring our brain. I truly believe in that, that there's power in that.
Yeah. Self-sabotage is something that I think well, I don't think it happens like subconsciously, right? You don't even realize you're doing it. And I think about a lot of things when it comes to like sport because I like
Huh?
golf and things like that. Like, and I see it all the time with golf with myself and others where you get to a certain point and it's like trying to get over that hump. And you see a lot of times with golfers, maybe they're going to shoot a low score and they're not used to that, and they sort of want to get back to what's comfortable, which is not that low, right? They get
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and so I think yeah, it's like when you get uncomfortable, you got to sort of embrace that a little bit, right? And that help you get through those moments where you're sort of not used to, and easier said than done, but self-sabotage I think can happen in
Yeah.
any type of level and any like sport or just like your own health and fitness journey as well.
Yeah. Life in general. Growth happens on the other side of our comfort zone. So
Right.
if we can look at painful situations as growth opportunities, like for me, when I hit my final bottom is what I like to call it, because there was a lot leading up to that with trauma, addiction, mental health struggles, lots of stuff. But I took that opportunity to turn my pain into my purpose, and now I look at the obstacle as the way.
Mm.
And also we're most qualified to help the person that we used to be. So that could have been very devastating and I could have lost everything, but instead, because I was doing so much mindset work before this happened, I was able to use some of those tools to really look at this as an opportunity for growth, and life happens for me and not to me. And
Mm.
to truly take personal responsibility, which I feel like your listeners can relate to this. We have to take personal responsibility for every area of our life. What we put in our mouth, what we do with our bodies, the decisions we're making, what we're listening to, everything. And there's so much, and things that happened to me as far as sexual abuse, things like that. I took personal responsibility in every part of that.
Mm.
And that gives me power. And then I can overcome.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I mean, I coach high school golf, so I'm like with the youngsters. We don't have kids ourselves, but like I think that's so key. I mean, any sport in life in general, right? Like taking personal responsibility. And you have 4 kids. I mean, you look great. You're 44, right? um, how do you sort of address that mindset when it comes to your kids? Because I think that's it's just so important, such a great value to have growing up.
Yeah, that's a great question. First, I believe everything is caught, not taught. 100%. It's
Mm,
caught, not taught. My oldest is 23. I've got an 18-year-old who is about to, he was a tennis player, but he just graduated salutatorian of a class of 600 children, kids. He's going to UT Austin. And then I have twin boys that are 13. And I can't say that we've ever just sat down and had a conversation about mindset, but they've witnessed
hmm
me and their dad do so much personal development. And then listening to podcasts like yours with my children in the car, they've picked up on it. Because what was so cool when my son gave his speech for to be his salutatorian speech a couple weeks ago, he talked about mindset stuff that I have never talked about with him. And it was a moment of, oh my gosh, what I'm doing is working because we don't have, just chats, but they've seen me overcome. They listen to what I'm listening to. I live my life out loud. They get to see me help people. They get to see me be congruent with consistency in my workouts,
hmm
my recovery from addiction. I've been sober for 3 years from alcohol, success with helping people. I donated my liver to a stranger with cancer. These are extreme things, but they've got to see that, and they're amazing because of that. And it didn't take me telling them; it took me showing them.
Yeah, just leading by example, and yeah, that's so important. And I'm curious. You said in the beginning of your show, your workout up the steps. That's um, how did you come up with that? Like you run steps and you do like you said a 5 mile. How many miles up?
8 to 10.
Oh my God.
I know. Like
I
if you work with me, I do not ask you to run
okay.
bleachers or work out 3 hours.
Oh my. So how do you fuel yourself for that and
Yeah.
like get your body ready? I mean, I know being in your 40s and
Mhm.
myself included, like, there has to be a little bit of an adjustment as we age as far as our workouts and recovery. How do you navigate that?
So, like you, and probably a lot of your listeners, I've been in the fitness world for a long time.
Right.
But it's also easy to get in a rut and start where we stop pushing our limits. So, one of the, I don't like to do, or I am not into bodybuilding shows or anything like that. I could be, but I'm not. And I don't do a lot of races. So I personally challenge myself by increasing my capacity with training, and I measure this with calories burned, time. I use my watch. I've got glucose monitor. I've got all the things to collect data
hmm
first to make sure I am being safe about it. Bleacher running. I rather do that than trail run or so, but I didn't start out that way. When I first started, probably over a decade ago, I maybe did 30 minutes. And then I was like, let me start counting this in miles. And so I started with 4 miles. And then I made the goal of, okay, I'm going to do 1 more mile, like the power of one more, compounding, right?
hmm
I'm going to do one more. And it was hard every time. And then I would make yearly goals. Well, this next year, 7 miles is going to be my new normal. Now, this takes me, my miles are about 16 to 19-minute miles. I start out pretty fast, but I slow down halfway through. And I fuel my body at the 90-minute mark, which I'm about 4 miles in.
hmm
I'm very big into electrolytes. I don't do anything super high in sodium unless I am in the middle of training. So when you did your interview with Dr. Anthony, he had mentioned that element. I don't recommend that to someone who's just average training. It is definitely for athletic performance. So I will do something like that, or I bring a good protein bar that's low in calories to keep my blood sugar stable that I'll do at the halfway point, or I'll do a packet of honey, like a good organic honey, and that carries me through the next half. Now I'll do that a couple days a week, and then on the other days I do 2 days of full body weight training, and after that I'll do about an hour or a little bit more of cardio. This is where I'm at in my training.
Mm.
My body is used to it. I love it. This is like my midday break. It's very therapeutic for me mentally. It's when I listen to podcasts and do all. So I train long because I love it and I love to challenge my body. And that's where I'm at. I don't recommend that for someone who just joins me. It's not necessary, but it's where I'm at. And then the other 2 days, I'll do arm workout and then cardio where stairs with a weighted vest. I wear a 20-pound vest and just do the stairs at the gym. That's just where I'm at. But I have to be very intentional about how I'm fueling my body and hydrating for sure.
Yeah. So a couple days of lifting full body, right?
2 days of full body lifting,
Full body. Yeah.
and then 2 days of just an arm routine with abs and cardio, and then 2 days of long cardio, which is normally running bleachers.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Running bleachers for 3 hours. Gosh.
It
Sounds
takes a
fun.
special kind of crazy to do that. But I mean, I went from, I have also to harness in that addictive personality and
Right.
extremes. So I need to use my powers for good, right? So a lot of us people who are intense, extreme exercise people, there may have been like a tendency to have an addiction problem. I see that a lot where you go from one. So I'd rather do that than turn to sugar, right? Lesser of two evils. But you do have to be careful. And I'm very intentional with my circadian rhythm. I do the same thing at the same time every day. My supplementation, my hydration, it's a full-time job.
Yeah. And how do you go about like just recovery? Is it just focusing on quality sleep and things like that?
Yeah.
And recovery when it comes to eating as well.
Yep. I do implement a 24-hour fast 1 day a week, normally on Mondays. So I kind of go a little bit back and forth with that. I still log everything I eat to make sure I'm getting enough protein and carbs, because when I don't, I will crash by Thursday or Friday. And
Right.
I can tell. So I'm still kind of working that out. I go to bed at probably 7:30 to 8 every single night. I turn my phone off an hour before I go to bed, no matter what. I stop working. I have clients in the UK, all over the United States and Canada. And so to give up control and ego, I had to learn that they don't need me. I want to empower them.
Right.
So I can put my phone down and answer them in 24 hours if needed. So that was a struggle. So shutting down, keeping my room cold. You mentioned that 66, 67 degrees. I do got a solid morning routine. I do the same thing at the same time every day. I take medication at the same time. I take vitamins at the same time. I supplement with NAD and glutathione, and I do peptides.
And well, going to bed around 7:30 now I know why you wake up at 4.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, and it's like I that's a non-negotiable. I have a lot of non-negotiables, and I think if you're truly wanting to be the best version of you, you have to have non-negotiables in place and boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I think like a consistent time that you're going to sleep and getting up is like so key.
game changer.
Hey everyone, quick interruption here. If you are looking to gain energy, lose inches around your waist, and build strength, well, look no further than my book, The Step Ladder System: 6 Steps to Lifelong Health and Vitality. What you get with the book is my full step-by-step plan and blueprint that I've worked with all my clients with, packed into one book. With part one, you're going to lay the foundation tackle any common challenges that might come in your way. Part 2 is my 6-pillar blueprint, how to set yourself up with a solid plan and know exactly what to do when life throws any curveballs. And lastly, step 3 are learning to implementation, a plan for getting results over the next weeks and beyond. So there you have it. I'll leave a link in the show notes for my Stepladder System book. Now back to the podcast.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned, I know we were going to touch a little bit on alcohol and like how do you go about maybe if you have a client who does use alcohol as just like a way to relax a few nights a week or whatever, like
Yeah.
how do you go about navigating that with that?
Yeah. So I don't think people realize how much just one drink a week can sabotage all the hard work that you're doing. Um, Whether you have a problem like I did or you don't, alcohol is toxic and it really will undo all of like the supplements that I take. So here, for example, 3 years ago, I was supplementing with peptides and the NAD and the glutathione, and I felt a little better, but I didn't realize how much the alcohol was impacting the results of those working for me. Because when I eliminated alcohol 3 years ago, it was like adding fuel to the fire. And now those supplements aren't trying to remove the toxin of the alcohol out of my body. They can actually do what they're supposed to do because they're not fighting, and that could be sugar too. They're not fighting the toxins in your body. So if a client comes to me and I challenge them to be open to everything and attached to nothing. So first it's a mindset thing, taking responsibility. What does your current reality look like now? Like you might be in denial and thinking, oh, well, I just have one drink a day, one drink a day is okay. And maybe it is for you. I don't think it is because I haven't seen anything good come out of it as far as people, especially women, when they're on a health journey, it will undo everything that they're trying to do. And then they get frustrated and they feel defeated. They could do my workout and then, have a couple glasses of wine. That just canceled out the calories you burned in the workout
Yeah.
and you don't realize it. So challenging them to be open to everything and attached to nothing and implementing delay, delete, delegate system. So, what are you willing short term to delete from your life? That could be alcohol or sugar or people, places, the list
Right.
goes. What can we press pause on? So, a lot of times I just influence to press pause. Could you just not drink for this week and just see how you feel? And if you have a problem doing that, we might need to address a bigger problem. Because if it's not a problem, it shouldn't be a problem to eliminate,
Right.
right? So that's very telling in that. And then also, I'm very big on James Clear, Atomic Habits. You have to replace a habit with a habit. Okay. We have to create an environment that supports our goals because willpower doesn't work. And now that I'm asking you to not have that glass of wine at the end of the day, what can you do instead? We have to replace a habit with a habit.
What recommendations would you tell someone maybe to
Mhm.
replace? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good question because if I can, and I share my story because if I can do it, anybody can do it. I was truly addicted to alcohol and prescription pills for most of my life. And thank God I got to go to 2 treatment centers at different times. But I never thought that I would not ever drink because I was very high functioning. I still trained as hard. I was a 6-figure earner with my business. I was very successful. And honestly, I looked good. I look way better now, but I had fallen for this is good. I'm good enough, right? Because I looked better than average.
Right.
So, what do you do? I replaced alcohol in the beginning, which this was kind of surface level, and I still do it, with a mocktail, a healthy mocktail.
There we go.
And for me, because I want something that's not water. Like, what is
Right.
that symbolic special drink? And I do mine every night at 6:30. So I think time is key because time is a trigger. So what time of day are you being triggered to want that drink, or even maybe the sugar or checking out with TV, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my mocktail has apple cider vinegar in it. I use some kind of like Topo Chico, bubbly LaCroix, some kind of
Mm-hmm.
bubbly 0 calorie,
Like
zero
a
sweet.
sparkling water or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
without artificial sweeteners. And then a really good magnesium powder.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like the brand Recess
Mm-hmm.
and Pure. Those two brands of magnesium are there's lots out there, but those two I love. Um, and I drink it every night at 6:30. Like, I don't wake up with an alarm. I can tell what time of day it is by when my body craves these things. And that's, I think, ideal for people to get to. That's when you know you've really created a good circadian rhythm. So that's one way. For my women and men too, magnesium Epsom salt bath. That's a great way to relax, heal your body. Meditation. I do a lot of meditation and I do that with my clients too. But that drink, having something in hand to mouth, is has been a game changer. So when I ask somebody to stop drinking alcohol, that's what I recommend
Mm.
to replace it with.
So a little apple cider vinegar, sparkling water, and a magnesium
Powder.
powder.
Hmm.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm sure it's not easy probably for a lot of clients to overcome that, but like you said, just probably takes time and just slowly implementing it over time, they can get out of that.
Yeah, and the support of a coach and
Right.
community and accountability, right? So I have a whole community where I have a whole team that helps me support my clients. I
Mm.
have what we call mindset mentors. I do small group Zooms. We have a podcast for the week that I will have them listen to, something like your podcast. And that's the topic of conversation for the week. I do a lot of mindset challenges with them. We share wins with each other through my app. So I have a whole workbook that goes with my program for mindset, and a meal plan, all the things. And my workouts you can do at home or the gym. So that's really good when people are busy. And that's the number one excuse I hear is I don't
Mm.
have time.
Yeah. No, I think like micro workouts too, like are great. I've talked about them before and I do a few myself, like back, gosh, during like the COVID time. I
Yeah.
remember working with like the X3 bar. I don't know if you're
Uh-huh.
familiar with that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because I had Dr. Jaquish on a couple times. He's an interesting guy. But yeah, the micro workouts, like 20-minute, 30 minutes and just getting it done. Like I did one this morning and same type of thing. It's like first of all, it's better than nothing. And second of all, sometimes you get even better results, especially, when we get up in our 40s and 50s. I don't think we need to stress the body as much and we can still get, good results.
I agree completely. So go like my workout, definitely extreme, and just that's just where I'm at in my journey. I and my body's used to it. Our
Right.
bodies will adapt and evolve. As soon as I stop training like I am, I would have to drastically change my diet.
Hmm.
But I
Well,
agree with you
one
completely.
thing I've actually been looking into, and I don't think the interviews come out yet, but we talked a little bit about it. Blood flow restriction
Mm.
devices. Yeah. I think I'm going to start messing around with those because you can do lighter weights and still get the same type of pump and like break down a muscle that you would from just doing like heavy weights. And I think like with 40 plus, I think that's what a tool that would be, not every time, but just to have that. So I'm going to start doing that and maybe I'll start make a few videos on how that's affecting my
Yeah,
workouts.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because time's a thing, and you want to be have the most efficient workout for the time that you have, and that's why I do full body workouts.
Right.
I'm with you on over 40. We don't need to lift like bodybuilders anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I like to ask this question to most of my guests that come on the show, but what's one thing you've changed your mind on?
So I heard this when I listened to your, so I was like, what is that? So here's where my heart goes to. And I want to really emphasize if you're listening and you're trying to change your habits and your life and you really want to level up, which I believe your listeners wouldn't be listening if they didn't want to level up in their health and their mind and maybe finances, everything. First, taking personal responsibility for everything. I love Wayne Dyer, and he says, taking responsibility is to respond with ability. So then we come out of denial, and this is something I wasn't doing before that I'm very big on now. So if I am feeling like a victim, that means I am not taking responsibility for something. So then what do you do after that? You have to be open to everything and attached to nothing. And that's also a Wayne Dyer quote as well.
Hmm.
So I can put, if I can put, when I put my emotions, habits, the way I think, if I can put that on a shelf just for a minute and be open to what someone else is saying, maybe a different method, maybe a different way of thinking,
Hmm.
then I will be more willing to change because we are all running on a set of emotional programs that have been instilled in us for a long time. So we're running on a program. So to change that, because it's automatic, like you said, people don't even think about it. You just are running on autopilot. So we have to take a step outside and be intentional about thinking about what we're thinking about, which is metacognition, if you want to get sciencey. So I'm going to be open to everything and attached to nothing. I'm going to take responsibility and I'm going to start thinking about what I'm thinking about. And then that's where true transformation can happen. And that's where we can begin to rewire the brain, where we create a new program.
Mm. Well said.
Does that answer your question?
Well, yes and no. I guess let's
Because
just
I
say,
didn't think that way before. So what's different?
oh, right.
That's
Gotcha.
what I'm
Okay.
doing differently.
Yeah. Just like wrapping your arms around mindset and like your approach to everything.
Yeah.
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 Because if I'm listening to some things that you're suggesting and I am totally closed off to that
Right.
and I don't try like what you're talking about, what am I missing?
Right.
And if I try it and I don't like it, I don't have to do it again.
Right.
You can pick up your old ways anytime you want. If the not drinking's not working for you, pick it back up. Whatever, you know.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I mean, there's so many, books, YouTube, podcasts talking about health and wellness, and some of it can be a little bit confusing and go back and forth and drive you nuts. But like, feeding the mind is one thing, and then actually taking action is another thing. And so, like you said, like wrapping your arms around creating clarity and you're, covering up with why you want to do certain things,
Mhm.
that'll help drive you. And having a coach is
Yeah.
so
Well,
important.
because the coach guides you through the exercises to do that. Because the longest road you'll ever travel is between your head and your heart. So you
Mm,
can know all the things, but actually being able to do them and feel them and create a new narrative in your head is very important because are the things that you're saying to yourself serving you? Most of
mhm.
us say shameful things to ourselves, and that's a big part of my program is to help people create a new narrative. And I, part of my morning routine is I write a declaration paragraph every single morning, and it has totally changed the way I'm thinking. It's the same one every morning, and the instructions on how to do it are in my book. My husband even does his
Mm.
paragraph. And that's a big part of my program because we have to replace our old narrative with a new one that is going to get us to our goals. And what we say to ourselves matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-talk. I talk to that about with my high school kids.
Mhm.
With golf, it's like you're out. you're playing golf, you're by yourself. Well, you might be playing with someone, but you're out there for yourself pretty much, right? You don't have like a team to
Yeah.
necessarily that's like rooting you on, like basketball or volleyball or whatever. So you have to, golf's hard enough. It's like you have to talk to yourself in the right manner.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
my son played tennis. Most of my kids have done non-team sports like gymnastics and tennis and things like that. And it's yeah, you are your biggest cheerleader
Right.
when you're out there. And when I'm running those bleachers, the things I say to myself are some David Goggins quotes. To be honest, don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Pain
Mhm.
is weakness leaving the body. Your body will adapt and evolve. You're a warrior, limitless. I'm an athlete. So, writing those things down every single morning, I can pull from them when I'm doing a intense workout and it gets me through.
And I'm
So, if
and
I
you
would have started younger, that would have been game changer.
right. Yeah, the earlier the better to instill these habits. I mean, I'm assuming you're probably consuming quite a bit with your activity level. Like, what's your like range?
Yeah,
Because I know you log a lot.
I do. So for me and my hormones in my body, I do better on low fat, a little
Interesting.
bit higher carb,
Hmm.
and then I do try to get a gram or more per pound of my body weight of protein,
Okay.
maybe a little bit more. And it is hard. It's hard to do that and still stay a little bit lower calorie. My with my aura ring, I burn about 3,600 to 4,000 calories a day, if this is accurate. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right. So, to be honest with you, I have not been eating enough calories throughout the week and I've been
Mhm.
crashing. So, I have been working with the certified sports nutritionist on my team that writes the meal plans for my clients to slowly increase my calories and carbs throughout the
Mhm.
day. And so now I'm up to a little over 2,000 a
Okay.
day. It needs to be a little bit more, but I'm very intentional with my hydration and my carbs are coming in at about 200 grams. I need to be a little bit more, but I'm
Mhm.
kind of upping slowly. My protein, I weigh about 145, but it's coming in 150, 160. And my fat grams are staying under 50.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a bit of self-experimentation, but like some people do better on like higher carbs. I mean, you're seeing it now in the health space. I mean, they're promoting different ways to get carbs in,
Yeah.
like fruits. I think fruit's back. I mean, I've been implementing fruit,
Mhm.
yeah, big time, and
Yeah.
I feel great on it.
I do too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've done programs that say no fruit. And I'm gonna be honest, I was scared to work it back into my diet.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. For a while, I was sort of not having much fruit, and probably over the last probably 5 years, I've ramped it
Mhm.
up, and yeah, I feel
Yeah.
great about it.
And
Yeah.
I'm measuring, like, get your scale out and measure. Like, it's not that hard.
Right.
Again, if I can do it I'm not a meal prepper. I don't like to prep meals. I don't, so easier is better for me. And but I've been because I need to be intentional on what I'm consuming to maintain my workouts. I have to.
Yeah.
And I think really if you're serious, you should for the data. I think I love the science behind things. Knowledge is power. And I start my clients out by I want you to log your food before you change anything. Let's just see what you're doing
Mm.
now. And it may not be that you're eating too much. I have a lot of people that don't eat enough
Oh, yeah.
because they have come off of the low carb, low calorie diets and they're scared to death to eat
Mm. Yeah. I'm sure you see that a lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, what's one thing? That's another question I like to ask. What's one thing I guess, what's one tip you'd give an individual who's just starting out, and they're looking to maybe get back into shape or get their body back to what it once was? What's one tip would you give them just when they're starting out?
Hire a coach.
Easy, done, right?
Yeah, done. Just
Done.
hire
Yeah,
me or Brian. You're good.
right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
All joking aside, I think. investing in a coach to get you started so you don't waste time.
Right.
Because I see so many people going into the gym and they really think that they're doing a lot and they're not. And it's a lot of time that they're putting in and they have no idea what they're doing is not effective. So if you have the ability to, and I would challenge people to look at where your finances are going, because if you really want something, you will find the money for it.
Sure.
You will.
Yeah.
But investing in a coach or a program that can get you on the right track where you're not wasting a lot of time, I think, I mean, that is my answer.
Yeah.
Because you can, you know, get ready to get ready all day long, but if you don't have connection with a person who is walking you through something, more than likely you will go back to old behavior.
Love it. Yeah. Simple. I mean, he- hire someone who's worked with people or have done it themselves. I mean, you save, like you said, you'll just save yourself that much time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, this was great, Tiffany. And your coaching program, do you have how long is your coaching program typically with people?
Yeah, that's a great question. I require a 90-day commitment.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I will, my goal is to empower. And I don't think that there's a one size fits all approach. But where I really see people really get the best benefits is 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And I have some people who have hit their goal and they stay with me. They've been with me 2 years just because they love the community and the accountability. And I'm just a part of their budget. If they don't have to think about what to do, and I tell them, and that's one less place they have to use their energy, they stay with me. So I don't have a huge turnover, but 90-day requirement, absolutely. And honestly, it should really be 6 months.
Yeah.
Really.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 6 month program, and that's all I pretty much sell right now. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, you have
right.
like I'm being nice by just saying 90, but walking you in, but really like the things that we do that are positive, you really won't see the benefits until a year to 18 months of being consistent.
Yeah.
The negative things we do, we will see the results from those in about 90 days.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone, like you said, everyone's a little bit different, but like, I think one of the big things that holds a lot of people back is they don't give it enough time
Mhm.
and they're not patient enough because they've developed these habits over 20, 30, 40 years. And how can we expect things to come to where we want them to go in a month or 2 months? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
unrealistic.
Not realistic. So teaching that up front too
Yeah.
is important. Yeah.
Well, where's the best place for people to find you, Tiffany?
Yeah. So first, I want to say that I want to give your listeners a free gift because what you're doing with this is just amazing. So it's motivated me to give back. I
Hmm.
love giving. So for all of your listeners, if you're ready to take control of your hormones and boost energy and finally see results, whether it's you or someone, maybe the woman in your life that you love, share this podcast with them first. Without extreme dieting and something that's realistic. So I want to give you what I call it's a 7-day reset blueprint. And with that, you're going to get a whole foods meal plan that's 7 days that's going to reset your metabolism and give you some guidance, a full body workout that you can do
Nice.
at home or the gym, one of my workouts that I only give my paying clients. And this is kind of a big deal. I'm going to also offer a one-on-one free mindset strategy Zoom with me.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a
Um,
nice gift.
as long as I can maintain it and do it, I'm getting pretty booked, but I do want to put that out there and I'm going to do it as long as I can. So a strategy Zoom with me. So to claim that offer or the free gift, I want you to go to my website. It's Coach Tiffany Owen
Hmm.
com, no S, Coach Tiffany Owen.com. You can message me on my website the keyword reset.
Okay.
And then I'm also on Facebook as Tiffany Owen and then Instagram, Coach Tiffany Owen.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put links in the show notes
Yeah.
so people can look back and check if they're driving or whatever and they
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah. And then like and share Brian's podcast. Definitely 5-star review, all the things. And then you can get my book too on Amazon. It's called Wounded to Warrior: How to Participate in Your Own Rescue.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing all this, Tiffany. I think the listener got a lot of value today, so I appreciate that. And I'll definitely put links in the show notes, and have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the show. I know there's thousands of podcasts out there, and you chose to listen to mine. I will put a link in the show notes if you want to connect with my guest. And if you are looking for one-on-one consulting with me, I will put a free 15-minute link so you can set up a call to see if you're fit for my 6-month health breakthrough program. So thanks again. Feel free to rate and subscribe. I would love that to help support the podcast. And till next time, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you on my next podcast. Thanks so much.